already has issues with this particular airline. Good evening, sir, and thank you for your time.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I hope you're well too.
Yes, I could be better. Thank you.
Right. Now, you did oppose the passage of this particular airline when it was first mooted in Parliament. And, of course, you had concerns after the ministry submitted the airline to the House. It was withdrawn following the public backlash. It's been relayed today, and the changes we're seeing, as announced by the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, is that the Speaker of Parliament and the Chief Justice have been exempted from the privileges this LI affords the MPs. First off, were you expecting that the withdrawal would have been the end of it?
Well, good evening to your listeners. Ordinarily, I thought so. But the question I should be asking is, why are we so fixated on sirens? Sirens or series or whatever they call it. When we are supposed to be thinking about the economy, really, I'm so surprised that we are so fixated on this issue. But anyway, it's before us. I don't know what must have led to the withdrawal of the privileges for the Speaker of Parliament as well as the Chief Justice. And so who is there now? Is it the President and the Vice and then just these two? Or ministers are also included?
Well, I think those categories of persons already enjoy these privileges.
Well, that's fine. Well, it was good that we didn't have a mass number of people enjoying sirens, especially the MPs. So I don't understand why the Speaker of Parliament has been taken out. I don't know whether I should agree to what the Honourable Hussein is saying, but I really would not understand it at all. The whole idea behind opposing the sirens is because we thought that it was going to create a situation where, before you knew it, assemblymen are also asking for sirens, right? So if you are MPs who definitely did not need sirens or sirens, I have to know how to pronounce this very well, then we would have achieved our aim. But now that it has come back to Parliament again, with the provision that the Speaker and the Chief Justice should be taken out, I really don't understand the motivation, really. I don't understand. I just don't understand. But I thought that the idea was that only a few members of the public, in this case high-ranking officials, would have that privilege. If ministers are still enjoying it, I wouldn't understand why the Speaker of Parliament should not, and why the Chief Justice should not either. I'll be surprised that the ministers should be enjoying it while the Speaker and the Chief Justice are not.
But what do you make of arguments such as MPs and, of course, these ministers having to work on emergency basis most often than not, hence the need for such persons to use these sirens?
First of all, the whole idea of a siren presupposes that, well, we are living our lives in traffic jams. And that's the way I understand this whole thing. Otherwise, look, in any civilized state, if your main roads in the city are well done, I don't see why you even need sirens, unless, of course, you want to go somewhere at the top of the hour, where everybody else is struggling to get home. And even then, that should have been normally on good roads. But if you don't have good roads and all of us have to touch on the road like cockroaches and lizards, what's the point in having sirens for just you alone? So what can be more emergency than you taking care of, making sure that everybody can have can also benefit from the same systems of transportation we have? In any case, then choose when you need to go to work anyway. But I can understand there are other circumstances, maybe where you need to be somewhere, but those circumstances are very few. So let's not make the exception the rule.
But we also know that these privileges previously were reserved for emergency and specialized vehicles. And what danger do you foresee if it's extended to cover all these other categories of persons?
You know, even though we managed to push back that of the MPs, and I think ministers also should be taking off that list. Even though we managed to push back, look, I've been sitting in traffic, and every now and then I see people in private cars just blaring out their sirens and then making noise with no motorcade ahead of them. And the police has told that unless there's a motorcade ahead of these private persons, we should not allow. I sit firmly in my car. I never budge at all. They get close to me and hurl insults. I don't give a hoot. So that's what every citizen should do. we should push back as many more people who want to get onto that list. It's not as if you have a siren, then you are on the highway to heaven. In any case, as I said, the most sensible thing to do, I suspect, is to make sure that everybody has a life that they can lead in a city that is not congested. That's the number one rule. When you do that, you find out that you can even use bicycles. If it's an emergency situation, you can use a motorcade. So you can use specialized cars, right? I don't understand. I mean, you and I, you must have traveled abroad. You've seen all of these things happen in other civilized countries. I've traveled in the UK. I've been on trains with members of parliament and ministers of state. But rarely do you see even the prime minister come in and there are sirens, really. Why? Because there's a short time to travel. And the roads are actually well paved anyway. There's very few times you do see them blowing their horns. You could even be sued for making noise. That's actually noise pollution, isn't it? We should investigate the environmental protection laws and see whether all these sirens that they want to have fixed on their cars are not causing nuisance to the environment anyway. Look, we don't need many more people getting sirens and making noise throughout the whole day. I mean, look, people may be ordering food before I realize the driver is just letting up, making noise during the... We don't want that. As I said, if you once you allow members of parliament on it, before you realize your local assemblyman will be asking for it. Before you realize your local committee member is asking for it. You never know where it will end.
I'm not sure how many of the local assemblymen have vehicles to make such demands. But these conditions...
Once they buy them, they have them installed.
Very well. These conditions that you mentioned, I mean, they are prevalent elsewhere, but not here. Could this not be our own way of finding a solution to getting our ministers and MPs to be at post on time as we demand of them to be, considering our transport situation here?
So you said our own circumstances. Well, we'd like to do things our own way. Question I have is, where are they going to? And in any case, if they are in a hurry to go somewhere, I suspect it's going to add to the bottom line of the economy. Have you seen the situations where even our president gets sick and nothing moves in the economy stays the same? That's how you value the leadership's time in the country. If Biden is sick right now, you can be sure the stock market will be affected. The whole world will be affected, right? An African president gets sick, maybe South Africa, maybe in Morocco. Most of our leaders here, they can get sick. They can even leave the country. Nothing happens. Nothing moves. So if they are in the country and we are all suffering on the road, why should they be giving pride of place, going somewhere in a hurry to nowhere, to no value addition to the economy? My brother, what are you talking?
Franklin, now, finally, I mean, you don't want the ministers on there. Obviously, not the MPs. But if this should pass, which categories of people should ideally be given such privileges?
Oh, I think we should be restricted to the president, the vice president, the speaker of parliament, and the chief justice. These are the 4 important persons in the country right now. I mean, any other situation should be emergency. It should be health-related, or maybe a foreign dignitary who has to catch a flight. I mean, there should be extraordinary circumstances anyway. We shouldn't make the exception the rule, not at all. Imagine all these ministers and MPs going to Cudjoe or going to somewhere to launch, to probably cut a sword for some local bridge or something, making noise, wasting everybody's time, shoving everybody to the side of the road, only to go and cut a sword for some bridge. Is that a good use of your sirens and time? No.
The new law that has been laid, Chief Justice is off, Speaker of Parliament is off. Should they be reinstated? Should they be put back into it?
They should be reinstated. That's why I'm asking who are actually on the list. Are you telling me that the president, the vice, and then some ministers are on the list, and the Chief Justice and the Speaker of Parliament is off the list? Really? Who did that? This is not even Animal Farm. This is not Cudjoe or 1984. That must be some really, really, really hard decision taking. Is it to punish Babi because the whole thing was pushed again? Look, this whole thing is a circus. If that's the case, then you should withdraw the siren for everybody else anyway.
Very well. Really? Franklin, thank you so much for your time this evening.
It's a pleasure.
Franklin Cudjoe is president of Imani Africa.